Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us for this very important session. For anybody who can tell me this, why were you willing to do this video with me?
I think sometimes MS can be an invisible disease to a lot of people, and therefore being a support provider is even more invisible. And so I just wanted to provide my perspective to other people that might, be suffering in silence.
I really wanted to participate because when we attended the Take Charge, there was a lot of questions in that group about parenting and what it was like to parent with one of the partners with MS. It's a question a lot of people have, and I'd like to share my experience with it.
One of the things that we wanted to do was to let other people know what's going on, and it's not the end of the world, especially if you've been recently diagnosed, that there's options and there's resources that you can use to make it better and to still live a full life.
We've been living with it for such a long time, and as the disease has progressed, we're not as invisible in the medical community, maybe, because of you guys, at least we don't feel like we're alone.
Can Do MS is a fantastic program, and I'm happy to help out because I like to think that maybe I can help somebody else the way that I was helped when I first got on board and started learning about this.
We were told early on, hey, you got a very mild case. In the last 5 years, our experience has changed pretty dramatically. It can get to where you need help and you need to call people, or you need to do whatever it is you got to do, because it can get very difficult.
The more support I was able to get, the stronger we both were together. So I was able to help her more, the more honest I could be with her in our discussions, which sort of empowered her. So we found this discussion and support around support partners to be pretty powerful for the two of us.
What is the biggest challenge that you would want to talk about? And with that challenge, what do you think is the biggest strength that you bring as a support partner?
One of the challenges is dealing with the fluctuation of symptoms. You never know what you're going to expect each day. It may be a day that she's doing fine and willing to go out and do a lot of things. Other days she's down and out and just wants to sleep.
You have to guess whether it's a good or a bad day, or do you get pretty clear communication?
Most of the time, I ask her, how are you feeling today? You okay today? You have pain? Are you tired? You need to sleep? You need to do something else? And we'll adapt from there.
I have similar challenges, the emotional stress, the mood swings that can happen from time to time are difficult. I think one of the strengths or something that I picked up there was patient spoons that she has. So if she's really having, one of those days that she has a lot of fogginess in her brain and she doesn't want to deal with, some of the memory issues that she has, she just tells me, I have 3 spoons, I need to save them. It was really hard to understand sometimes if she was just having a bad day or if it was an MS issue. So that has helped me be a little bit more patient.
I think for me, the isolation as CJ has become more disabled and, needs me more physically, that compiled with the loss of freedom, I feel like I'm on a tether. Once you were able to talk about it, Robin, how did you get more support for yourself? Well, mental health professionals help. That's a big one, and it helps us communicate, whether it's individual mental health counseling or group counseling, because you have to have somewhere to vent it.
So for us, I'd say the biggest challenge is balancing expectations. We want to live our best life, and we want to try to live as, for lack of a better word, normal of a life as possible. But when she says, I can't do this, we can't do that. I can't just be like, oh, sure you can, come on, we can do anything we want to do, because that's not reality. And the truth is that's insulting to her. That says that I don't understand. What I like to think I bring to that is listening and asking questions. We really kind of are almost always able to find that common ground of, okay, so this is what we can do.
For so many people, that becomes a real stumbling block where couples run into difficulties expressing wishes or feelings or emotions that maybe aren't particularly comfortable, making requests of their partners when they feel guilty or feel worried about whether it's fair to make such a request, or even resolving conflict. Have any of you found some good strategies for communicating in tough situations?
What's worked for me is I'm brutally honest. I have to be. I couldn't survive by holding stuff back. I don't necessarily get the same from her, and I understand that. I think she's in a much different space than I am, but I don't think I could fulfill the role without just saying, you know what, this sucks. I know it's not your fault. I make sure I say it in a very compassionate way, but I have to have my feelings be heard. It's just too much otherwise.
A lot of people around us don't know either that she has the MS or how to deal with it. So I have to be playing like middleman, what she can do or cannot do, because then you have family and friends saying, oh yeah, let's go and do that. And I'm like, no, that's not a good idea. In our case, sometimes I have to remind her to eat, to take the medication, because she'll try to keep going and keep going and keep going until it's too late, and then she crashed.
So sometimes support partners are really feeling like they're between a rock and a hard place, trying to know when to help.
That's been a challenge for us, finding that balance between me overstepping his autonomy and making sure like that he has quality time with our son and he's not bogged down with doing household chores. And I want to make sure that he has as much time with that energy with our son in a way that makes him feel like he's still a productive father. He made a comment not too long ago about feeling useless as a partner, which just, because he's not, but there are days where he sleeps all day on the couch and I'm chasing a 18-month-old around him and trying to make the house quiet enough that he can sleep because he needs it. And then I'm pregnant and it's just like, I want a nap. Why don't I get to take a nap? And so then we just take a family nap and we just have a day of it. But it's a challenge to not say, oh, you can't carry our son up and down the stairs because he's a little tippy today, but at the same time not making him feel like he has to say, I can't do this. It's a balance and every day is different.
So trying to be very respectful of him and his role and his wishes, and also protecting him and your son.
Yeah, and I don't want him to feel like I don't trust him and that I think that I know more about how he's feeling in a day than he does. But, there are things that I can see every day.
We're at that point in our lives where a lot of things are happening amongst our friends and at the same age. So they're having babies, they're growing through their career, and I see the ups and downs. She's happy for her friends, but then at the same time, she's like, what about me? She would feel stuck. And I was like, let's think about the positives in your life. She's doing CrossFit right now. A couple of years back, she couldn't even walk. So I told her all that is different. It's a different win, but it's a big win. And we celebrate together. But it was really hard to get her to open up. I just listen to her. That's all I do.
Does she listen to you as well?
She does, but it's hard. Maybe it's my fault. Maybe I don't open up as much because sometimes I might feel guilty about sharing those feelings.
So let's talk about that a little bit, because I think that's pretty common, that the person who has MS is seen by everybody as having the short end of the stick. But sometimes it means that your challenges kind of take the back seat.
I've had many, when is it my time kind of moments. But then the flip side is the guilt about saying, well, it shouldn't be about you. You know, she's got the MS and stuff. So it's tough.
So what is all the guilt about?
Her inability to go out and do the things that she would like to do, and she's knowing that I'm going and doing them, and I just feel we have missed so much, and for her that's okay, and for me it's not okay.
When one person's needs get all the attention and the other person's needs don't, a partnership can really struggle over time. So what is the trick to finding a balance between your needs and your partner's needs?
I take the time to go out because if I don't, I know that my interactions with Laura are worse. I know I have a shorter temper. I don't listen as well. I help her by helping me is what I had to realize. And once I did that, it was a lot better.
And it has worked for the two of you?
It has. She's very understanding about it now. I think it was much harder when I first started kind of just doing it. But now it's something she gets. She doesn't always like it every time. That's okay. But she likes the result.
So let's say you're committed to the relationship, but at the same time, you're really struggling, whether it's with anger or grief or depression. What do you do in those moments when that's how you feel?
I think you need to have an outlet, a constant outlet. I exercise or work out, I play golf. When I don't do it, I sometimes feel like I'm feeling very anxious, and I'm normally not an anxious person, but I feel anxious and I don't know why. So I know I need to do something.
So I'm going to ask how you in your own heads and maybe in conversation deal with the unpredictability of the future and of the symptoms that you're living with now. Which are the ones that you worry about the most?
Unfortunately, this disease never gets better over time. Everyone knows it's going to be a slow degradation, and it is painful to be cognizant of that and know that that's going to happen, and you're going to lose parts slowly over time. Because day to day, it's generally okay. And I have to really focus hard on day to day and be like, okay, yesterday was a bad day, but today's a great day. So who cares about what's going to happen in 10 years? And then to your second part of the question, as far as what scares me the most is she has a lot of pain and a lot of cognition issues. And I'm worried she's going to change, but is she going to change to somebody I don't recognize? Can I change with her through that? I don't know.
Thinking about the future is something that we do it, we talk about it, we're preparing, especially financially, and we cannot do anything about it right now. So we try not to worry too much about it. Focus on what we can control.
We talk about the future, but not very far out. And I think that's on purpose. Our big future plans have been more around taking care of each other financially. And then sort of our planning for our lives is a little bit more short term.
Yeah, speaking of financial planning and what that looks like. Right now, I'm a stay-at-home parent full-time, and Wes is still working. And I feel a bit like we're playing chicken with the MS financially. I know that one day he might wake up and not be able to work. And so, you know, I'm pregnant. I'm not going to be working for the next year and a half. That weighs kind of heavily on my mental state sometimes, and thinking about the volatility of our current position. Like, can he make it? Can he keep working that long? Because, you know, he has a hard time walking. He has a hard time being out for a full day. He works 12-hour shifts. And it's those kind of like, when is the tide going to turn? That, like, you know, something sneaking up behind you, fear. I'm taking as many videos of my husband with our kids as possible, because I don't want something to happen and then to not know this man that I know, and I want them to know how much their dad loves them. So you just don't know, and it's scary, but I'm just trying to make sure that there's as much video as there can be. Anyway, sorry.
We're doing a contingency plan, and the big one is, what if something happens to me? how can we modify the house, or how can do we get people in, or do we get an agency in? Do we have friends? Or starting with a call list? The worst thing would be something happens to me and she's just sitting here and people forget that she's even here. That is not the time to figure those things out.
So in the limited time we have left, I would like to ask you to share with other support partners anything that you really want them to know.
Prepare for the future, but don't worry too much about it because you don't know how it's going to be. And take care of yourself. So if you're not strong enough to lift your partner physically or emotionally, you're not going to survive.
The role that we are in is incredibly difficult. Give yourself a break.
Yeah, I think it's important to honor your feelings. I didn't feel I had the right to talk to her honestly. She's the one with MS. She was the one with dealing with this. Like, I needed to get over myself. Like, how dare I feel bad for myself? Like, that's just so misplaced. But it's not that, those are your feelings and that's how you feel and you have to deal with them. And you need to lean on people. This is a lonely job sometimes, even if it's not people that exactly understand what we're going through, just somebody who can listen to what you're feeling.
It's important to remember that it's in the title, support partner. You're a partner with this person. You're a team. You work together. That's how you win. The more you communicate and the more in sync you are about what your needs are, what their needs are, what your goals are individually and as a team, the more likely you are to successfully achieve those goals and find the happiness that you're looking for.
When she was first diagnosed, she was in a pretty bad shape. And, I told her, we're going to get through this. We got this. So we ended up going to a concert of her favorite artist when she was able to just walk a little bit. And I was along with her. So I think that also is focusing on the good parts. I feel like sometimes it's just about the bad parts. And we need to celebrate that, when there's a good win.
Well, I can't tell you how much I appreciate all of you doing this. You are extraordinary and you've been very open and helpful with each other and with me. And I hope that many support partners will listen to all of you and get the message so they will honor their feelings, take care of their health, build safety nets for themselves, work in partnership with the people they love, and make sure that they're working on goals that work for both of them, and then celebrate those goals together. So thank you very, very much.